Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding this video or any other video that I post in the past. If you have any video that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. This video is a good example of my response to a request by the viewer. And in this case, thank you Mercedes for making this request. Now today's dish is a dish known as shrimp with lobster sauce. And there's a famous dish called lobster Cantonese. And in this dish, there's a special sauce that's used for stir-frying this lobster dish. And later on, people use this sauce and to cook it with shrimp. And that's why they call shrimp in lobster sauce. This dish was very popular about 50 years ago when I was an undergraduate student. During the final year of my undergraduate career, I worked in a Chinese restaurant as a cook for about 6 weeks during the summer. And I remember making this dish many times. Now since then, I have not made this dish again. In fact, this dish is pretty much now almost disappeared from the Chinese restaurant menu, because it was not considered as an authentic Chinese dish. Because in the Chinese cuisine, this dish has never been found. It is truly an American Chinese dish. So when I received the request from the Mercedes, I was very excited because I really would like to make this dish again. It's kind of bring me back to the memory of the days when I was working in that Chinese restaurant, also the years actually before I started graduate school. And it turned out that this dish has a lot of similarities with the egg foo young dish. Both of the dish require a gravy. And in fact, the gravies are very similar to each other. And as you will see as I explain more how to make this dish. For this dish, I'm going to use some black jumbo tiger shrimp. Now this shrimp is normally about $11 a pound. That day when I at the supermarket, they were reduced to about $7.25 a pound, and I thought that was an excellent deal. So I bought 2 pounds of it. This shrimp is just about the right size for this dish. It makes the dish more robust. In terms of the size, the shrimp is referred to as 16-20 count. It is shell off, deveined, tail on. When I purchased it, the shrimp is not frozen, and I believe that this shrimp has never been frozen, but I could be wrong. But after I brought them home, I put them into Xerox sandwich bag. I freeze about 5 to 6 shrimps per bag, because this is about the size that I will use for each time when I cook. In the original lobster sauce, or the shrimp with lobster sauce, the sauce is made with ground pork. But I don't have any ground pork, and I normally do not keep ground pork on hand, but I have mushroom. So I'm going to use mushroom instead of ground pork. I'm going to cut the mushroom into small chunks. I also need some scallion to cook this dish, but I always have scallions on hand. The first thing I enter into the kitchen is to grab some shrimp from the freezer and put them in a bowl of lukewarm water to thaw them out. The next thing that I need to do is to make a gravy. I'm going to use cornstarch for the gravy. I'm going to put in a bottle with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with 8 tablespoons of water. And the last thing I need is an egg. I'm going to beat up 1 egg, which I will use to make the sauce. So okay, let's get in the kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to cook this shrimp with lobster sauce. Actually, it's really simple. I cook this dish in my 13-inch stainless steel wok. I normally use my Cuisine 14-inch stainless steel wok to do most of my everyday cooking, but today I was using that wok to prepare a soup. I usually warm up the wok for about 60 to 90 seconds. The way that I can tell the wok is hot enough is that when I add oil to the wok, the oil will form small bubbles. And usually within about 10 to 15 seconds, the oil will start to smoke. I usually will shut off the heat completely. I will let the oil to smoke for another 10 or 15 seconds. This is the time when the wok is being seasoned. I then add the shrimp directly to the wok. As you can see that the wok is very hot, and it's important to keep the oil temperature high because it will help to seal the shrimp. And once I add the shrimp to the wok, I turn the burner setting back to high, and this will keep the stir-frying temperature high. For me, the timing in cooking the shrimp is important because I want the texture of the shrimp cooked just right. I do not want it to be overcooked. As you notice that the shrimp will turn a pink color very quickly, usually within about 10 or 15 seconds. After the shrimp turn pink, I will stir fry it for another 30 seconds. And this is the time which I decided the shrimp is just about the right texture that I want. Then I will remove the shrimp and set it aside. So okay, next I'm ready to make the gravy. The most important thing is that make sure you turn the burner temperature to low, because you don't want it to be too hot. I make sure that I shake up the cornstarch water suspension really well before I add them to the wok, because you want it to be well suspended. As soon as I add it to the wok, you notice that it thickened almost immediately. It might appear to be too thick initially, but don't worry, because you can dilute it by adding more water. And after I add water, I use the wok spatula to gradually smooth it and to make sure that everything is mixed as thoroughly as possible. As you can see that the gravy becomes very smooth. And next, I add the chopped portobello mushroom to the wok and then follow with 1 tablespoon of the wok with tart basic seasoning mix. And then use the wok spatula to mix everything. Now the mushroom cooks very quickly. In fact, you do not want to overcook it because you want the mushroom to retain some of its texture so you can taste it. After the taste test, I decided I would like to add more of the wok with tart basic seasoning mix as well as some salt. Now the wok with tart basic seasoning mix contains a small amount of salt. The purpose of this seasoning mix is to enhance the natural flavor of the food ingredients. So if you want it to be more salty, you can adjust it by adding salt. By that time the gravy is done, I turn the heat off completely. The next is that I'm going to add the egg to create an egg drop in the gravy, and this is characteristic of this dish. In order to create a cloud-like willowy texture of the egg, you should turn the burner to the low, because if the burner too high, the egg tend to coagulate too fast. And next is I'm going to add some chopped scallions, and the scallions will create both color and texture. And this is followed by adding the shrimp back to the wok. And after a few quick mix, the dish is ready to be served. This cooking method is designed to maximize the texture of the shrimp. Because if I cook the shrimp separately, I will have much better control of how long and how the texture of the shrimp will be like. If I make the gravy directly with the shrimp, I might run the risk of overcooking the shrimp. This way, I can take time to create the gravy exactly how I would like it. And then at the end, I would then mix the shrimp back with the gravy. And this will create a much better dish, and the flavor as well as the texture of the dish will be much better controlled. And the last step is to garnish the dish with some additional scallion. But this time, instead of using chopped scallion, I'm going to use scallion that have been cut in thin strips. And this fresh scallion will add both texture and flavor to the dish. In addition, the strip of the scallions will give the dish greater visual appeal. If you enjoy sauce and gravies, you probably will like this dish, because this dish will go very well with rice and noodles. The sauce can go over the carbohydrate and make them taste more delicious. And this dish presents a very different culinary experience with dishes that have a small amount of sauces. In many of my dishes that I cook in the past, I do not use a lot of sauce because I generally do not like dishes that are heavy in sauce. But after trying this dish, I think I would probably like to have this occasionally. It just gives me a different type of experience from time to time. For your convenience, I have provided a link to the recipes below the videos. Give it a try. I believe this will expand your repertoire. I post a video each day with the intention to help you to build a cooking system that will be a viable alternative to fast and ultra-processed food. And using my fast cooking system, you can make your home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. If you'd like to learn more about this cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.